There is a town upstate, 2 days' journey to the north in the Hudson Highlands. It is a place called Sleepy Hollow.
I was sent actually the script by the producers, Scott and Adam, and I just liked it. I mean, I had been working on something else for a year that didn't happen, and they sent me this script, and I just felt very, like, right about it.
Murder! The Horseman's killed again!
You know, I'd known the story, you know, since as a child, and seen the Disney cartoon and all, and loved aspects of that. And just there was something very powerful about the image of a headless horseman that is just extremely like a great fairy tale or folk tale symbol. It's got a lot of power to it. You know, I always like to play around with several different thematic things, but it's basically hopeful. And I mean, the Ichabod character, who's very sort of at odds with himself in a way, and in some ways it's about growth and acceptance and, you know, being open to things.
Tim has incredible insight into human behavior. I mean, he just understands the human animal very well.
I was so excited at the prospect of working with Tim. I've always loved his movies and always loved his style as a director and his aesthetic.
He's very into actors. He helps actors. Good actors, director.
It takes a great director like Tim Burton to put it into a new level of fear and humor and storytelling. He just did such a great job. He made this surreal, unbelievable character, place, and time become unbelievably believable.
Constable Crane! Ichabod Crane, is that you? None other.
My initial idea was that we could go with some prosthetics, you know, and do that sort of snipe nose of Ichabod Crane, you know, the legendary Ichabod Crane, and the big ears and the, you know, long hands and arms and stuff.
You know, I know Johnny would have liked to have done that in a way, but we felt like, you know, rather than going too extreme with that, we just let it happen in the character. So we tried to keep all of those character traits that are Ichabod, you know, the sort of eccentricity, the squeamishness, the sort of edginess of that character intact.
Tim, in fact, was very smart in thinking that we didn't need it, you know, that there were other ways, you know. And I think ultimately he was right to show an Ichabod Crane who, on the surface, is kind of stoic and likes to think of himself as a sort of a manly man. But in fact, inside he's a very fragile, sensitive, flawed. Ichabod is a bit, I thought of him almost as like a pre-pubescent young girl in a way. He's crumbling. I mean, he's just a wreck.
Murder needs no ghost come from the grave. We have murders in New York without benefit of ghouls and goblins.
You're a long way from New York, Constable. We've had such fun. Johnny is a terrific actor. He's so on the ball and knows what he's doing and is amusing and funny. He's a good comedian. I think that's the thing people like to find surprising when they see this movie, how funny Johnny is in it.
It was a headless horseman.
You must not excite yourself.
But it was a headless horseman.
Of course it was. That's why you're here.
No, you must believe me. It was a horseman, a dead one. Headless.
I know.
You don't know because you were not there. It's all true.
Well, of course it is. I told you. Everyone told you.
I saw him.
I love working with Johnny. Johnny is so kind and such an amazing actor, and he takes risks and does things that other actors wouldn't do just because of their vanity. He's willing to make a complete fool out of himself for the performance. I think Katrina's very romantic, very naive, believes in love at first sight. She's sort of like the princess waiting for her prince to arrive.
Is it Theodore?
No, pardon, Miss, I'm only a stranger.
Then have a kiss on account.
And she kisses him with the blindfold on. It shows how open-hearted she is and how naive she is and loving. She has no idea who this person is, but she's still going to kiss them.
It felt to me as though that we're some kind of a kismet or some sort of a destiny, kind of a sense of a person before you can even see them.
And also, of course, the power of them being drawn together when she can't even see him.
Halt and turn, I have a pistol aimed. Katrina, I might have killed you. Why have you come?
Because no one else would go with you.
I'm now twice the man.
She's just got such a quality, it's almost like a silent movie star, you know, where she can be completely still and look at you, and you don't know what she's thinking. She was really good at that and has quite a presence that way.
The dialogue certainly demands a more grandiose performance than I'm used to giving. But you also have to be careful, because you could go way far over the line.
This land we're looking at was Van Garrett land, given to my father when I was in Swaddling Close. The Van Garretts were the richest family around these parts. My father worked hard for his family and prospered and built this house, and I owe my happiness to him.
It was a bit of a challenge for me. Also, I'm very modern and American. I'm very much a teenager. So it was difficult and different for me to have to concentrate so much on changing the way I spoke.
Father saw the horseman kill you.
He saw the horseman come towards me with his sword unsheathed. But it is I who govern the horseman, my dear. And Baltus did not stay to watch.
Miranda's amazing. Miranda's such a great actress. And so in this movie, she's perfect.
She's, you know, seeking justice for the wrongs that were done to her family. And one of the things about the movie is cause and effect, whether that's, you know, how things happen or whether there are random elements and, you know, the world of reason and the world of fantasy and imagination.
I think she really steals the movie, actually.
The horseman comes! And tonight he comes for you!
My favorite scene in the movie was definitely the fight sequence. I liked that a lot. It was a lot of fun to do, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of. Very first night, they don't really know all about this, but we're battling, and I have these two scythes with the handles here, and the blades are right here. And I have to shuck that, you know, it's used to shuck hay, but I grab them and I go after this horseman. Johnny tries to stop me because the horseman isn't after us, but I say, I'll get him anyhow, and I go after him and I start battling. Well, we've rehearsed it so much and we're all prepared, but the horseman has a sword with a big handle and an axe with a big handle, and Johnny has a big handle with the blade on the end of it, so they can whack away, but mine are right there, so my hands were getting hit all the time. One of the very first shots, the sword came down, or the axe came down and cracked my finger and broke it. And it turned black right away, and I just reset it real quick there because I was thinking, even though at this point in time in the movie I get cut in half, I didn't want my part to get cut in half. I'm in a Tim Burton film, I'm with Johnny Depp, and I'm in this great sequence, so I suffered through it, so that was kind of fun.
My favorite scene is in the church when Michael has his big dramatic breakdown. Such a funny person that I loved watching him do that.
There's a conspiracy here, and I will seek it out.
I also loved doing that scene, getting to scream, be really dramatic.
When I get that thing through me, that made me laugh. It's frightening, but I know what's going to happen anyway. That's my favorite bit.
When you walk onto a set that Tim's made, it's extremely magical and, of course, very quiet, as in the case of the wood, because it's not a real wood. We're in a soundstage, so there are no birds, nothing. So that kind of makes it creepy, but reinforces everything that's happening in the movie anyway, because it's you know, it's like another world. It's just very exciting to see his drawings, his beautiful drawings, realized in full, you know, as in the case of the windmill.
You know, it was a difficult set to shoot because it was like straight up in a way, so, but it was fun. I mean, you know, the sets all had a great texture to them, and I think that helps. It just helps everything. It helps the actors, it helps the mood of the piece, because you could feel it kind of right there, you know, and so it's exciting. I had the opportunity to work with some great artists. You know, these people, you know, very, very good in terms of texture and in terms of, you know, because we had the concepts, did some designs on them and stuff, but when aging and painting and all of that is just so crucial to it, you know, it's just, it makes it come alive.
What manner of instruments are these?
Some of my own design.
There was one contraption that I fell in love with, which was in the was in the scene, in the courtroom scene with Christopher Lee. In that scene, there's a guy strapped in this horrible device with claws around him, and I kept that. I got that.
Until you really get there on the set, you know, because it's a fantasy and everything is created, you really don't know exactly what is exactly going to happen. In The Death of Magistrate Phillips, we sort of choreographed that, just that right there on the spot. So, you know, it was like there was a lot of improvisation in terms of staging because of the way we had to shoot it.
Oh my God!
I love scary movies. I love that feeling, that adrenaline rush, and that feeling of jumping out of your skin and grabbing the person next to you.
Cleave together. That would be a good moral. Cleave together.
Don't lose your head.
Keep your head on.
The moral of the story is when Tim Burton asks you to do a film, do it.
Cut.